How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlett, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we've got some Pokemon rumors and stuff to talk about. So, sit back, relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get started. First things first, it's going to be this post over on Twitter. It's actually a post from 4chan, but it was shared to me by Light, and also shared to me by the Green Spider on Discord. So, just going to give a thanks to him as well and a shout out. But yeah, either way. So, potential rumor about a press conference of Pokemon in May, as always, with a grain of salt. Now, this post is actually really interesting because I feel like we have a lot of posts, but the ones that go a little bit out there is the ones I enjoy a lot. So, first things first, if you guys do not know, Pokemon conferences, like if you look at Pokemon press conference, you guys will know that the last one we had, the last Pokemon press conference, has been now, I think if we don't count the 2019 press conference, which was like the most recent one, I think that's the most recent one, right? Like the 2019 press conference was the most recent one, which was 4 years ago, right? This was actually in 2019, so it's basically going to be 5 years in May since this press conference, right? You guys see it right here, 2019 press conference. And this press conference in particular actually featured, I think Pokemon Sleep got shown off again. I think Pokemon Sleep got announced or some bullshit. Let's actually check. So, first of all, I think they announced, I think Chinese translations, like mainland Chinese translations for all Pokemon games. Detective Pikachu the movie, they talked about that. Detective Pikachu the game. They also talked about the Nintendo Switch, because remember, in 2019, please, let's recall this. In 2019 is also the year we got Sword and Shield, which were our first new-gen games on that console. So this was in that same time period. They talked a bit about the Pokemon Center. I guess that they're going to be opening new stuff in like, I think it's the Singapore airport right here that they were showing for a second. Yeah, this is Singapore airport. As far as I'm aware, I think it's like one of the most beautiful airports in the world. Shout out to all the Singaporeans, by the way. They were talking about Pokemon centers being opened up. If we go further again, it's just about new Pokemon centers and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. Again, something they were working on together with NetEase. NetEase is a Chinese company that makes a bunch of stuff, and they were just talking about the fact that they're going to be working together with them on a project. I don't remember if this was them basically like Pokemon Unite. I don't know if that's what this was, or if NetEase was just going to be taking over Pokemon Quest. So if you guys do not know Pokemon Quest, it was a game that came out a long time ago in 2019, but never got continued. And yeah, it's not really much else to say about it. Then Junichi Masuda talks about here, Game Freak managing designer. They talk a bit about, the Pokemon Go stuff, the connectivity across the games, as well as Pokemon Home, which I think gave us some of the information about Pokemon Home and when it's going to be coming out and all that, and how it's going to basically allow you to transfer your Pokemon over to the Switch console. And then, of course, they announced here, the biggest thing they announced was another Direct, a Pokemon Direct on June 5th, 2019 for Sword and Shield. So what I'm trying to say is, this was a big press conference, right? And they haven't done one of these in 5 years. So it's about time for them to do another one of these press conferences to kind of update, not really you and me, but more update the actual investors, right? People that spend money into the Pokemon company, that invest money into Nintendo, to actually give them some, information and what they're working on, what's in the pipeline, what are some of the plans, things like that basically need to be addressed more or less by them. If we keep scrolling through, it's mostly just Niantic's like CEO, this guy, talking about Pokemon Go, Pokemon Masters as well being shown off. So that's that. We also had the Pokemon shirts thingy they did, which was a new line of merch, and that's pretty much the press conference. And I think it was pretty interesting because basically Detective Pikachu on the Nintendo Switch, Pokemon Home, Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Go Plus, Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Shirt, and of course, Pokemon Direct on June. So basically, it was a pretty big day for Pokemon information, to say the least. Just to say it in blunt terms, okay? It was a pretty big day. But what does this actual rumor here have to say? Because first of all, when was this rumor posted? Well, this rumor, I can't really tell. I'm assuming it was posted today, but let's take a look at what it says though. So, after nearly 5 years, I guess I was correct about that. We'll be seeing a Pokemon press conference in May. Don't ask how I know the details. Just wait for the announcement. Should be between May 20th and May 24th, with the actual conference taking place on the 29th. Let's get into the details. Now, he says that conference starts off with a new TCG set announced. Will be a dragon set that was recently trademarked. Main cards revolve around the new dragon Pokemon from the Indigo Disc DLC with Generation 5 Dragons 2. So first of all, that is actually accurate. If you guys look up the Pokemon TCG leaks, you'll know that there actually was some talks about a new dragon set coming out. Like, there was actually talks about a new dragon set that's been kind of hinted at. So let's see. Here we go. So if we open up this, I think this post right here, Scarlet Violet 6.5 set listed. Potential news next special set. So here you got like basically we got exciting information for the next set after Twilight Masquerade. It's called Scarlet Violet 6.5 as a placeholder name. The naming indicates it's a special set. This Scarlet and Violet 6.5 set got a placeholder release date of August 2nd, 2024. A new product also got mentioned named Illustration Rare Collection. Also Scarlet and Violet 7, if we believe the listings, releases on September 13th. Listed products, Scarlet Violet 6.5, mini tins, etc. It just goes through some of the stuff. But I have read a post, and you're going to have to like either believe me on this or you're going to have to just look it up yourself. But I have read a post about a dragon set, specifically a dragon listed set. I don't remember where I read it, though. It could have been on PokeOS. I think it could have been on PokeOS. Like, it could have been. I could be wrong, though. I don't want to give you misinformation on this, but I have a feeling that it could have been that during, like, on PokeOS is the website I actually read it on. But I could also be totally wrong here. I'm going to be real. Like, there's a chance I'm totally off the base. Nonetheless, though, I'm looking through, like, right now, like, all the different months and what's planned in terms of TCG here. And again, PokeOS is, like, the best website, man. But basically, looking through all of these, there isn't really much to say except that the 6.5 wave is here. Nothing here. June is gonna have the Vibrant Paldea like ones, so like Paldea, like, you know, Palafin EX box and just, you know, an updated Battle Academy. So nothing too crazy there. But the TCG, though, I have heard about a dragon set, a specifically dragon-themed set, which I have heard of. So that's definitely something. Next up, they speak about Pokemon Pocket. So Pokemon Pocket, again, if you don't remember the actual trailer, was this Pokemon game that we're going to be getting, which is more or less a Pokemon trading card game on mobile with a bunch of gacha mechanics, right? You guys may remember this was announced. It's this new Pokemon game. And funny enough, basically, PokeOS, this website, which, by the way, best Pokemon website you can find, literally has some of the best shit ever. And they also have their own version of this, like, Pokemon Pocket thingy that they created. Like, this exact same thing with opening packs. But basically, it's going to be a new Pokemon TCG thing. And it's not got the most amount of excitement to it, but there are some people excited for it nonetheless. So definitely something I wanted to just mention real quick. I don't think their actual thingy is up here yet. No, I don't think they've posted it yet, but it's fine. Either way, so yes, we have heard about Pokemon Pocket. Next up, they speak about Pokemon Pocket, giving a release date, whilst also dropping a new gameplay trailer for the mobile game. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. That'll be pretty good, because we haven't really, like, literally in the trailer for Pokemon Pocket, we got a grand total, I really mean this, a grand total of 3 seconds of gameplay, and the rest of it was just opening packs, which was kind of lame. But yeah. We then get a very small trailer for Pokémon Legends ZA. Ah, brother, that would be such a blessing. Honestly, that would be such a blessing if we actually did get that. Still no gameplay, but shows Mega Evolutions using different attacks and will then be explained that every Mega is returning, even Mewtwo. Not sure how it's caught in the game, but I'm assuming a side quest or something. Okay. Well, that's a bit weird. Also, this is where you guys, if you watch any of my videos, I do question a lot of these things I read, and I try to, like, at least dissect it and question it as I go. And the first thing I'm noticing here is, how would you know that it'll be a side quest? Why would you even mention that? It seems a little bit out of place to bring up, but whatever. Nonetheless, though, it says, okay, so basically, get a very small trailer for Legends ZA, still no gameplay, but shows Mega Evolutions using different attacks. Will then be explained that every Mega is returning, even Mewtwo. Not sure how it's going to be caught, though. Caught in the game, but I'm assuming side quest or something. Okay. He says, we will then get representatives of the Pokemon Works to appear on stage. Now, this is, okay, I need to do a little bit of a sideline, okay? This is a long rumor, so we have enough time. Basically, Pokemon Works, as you may know from the last month or two, is a new company. It's literally called Pokemon Works. And this Pokemon Works company has been started as a subsidiary to the Pokemon company, the big company, right? The TPCI, right? They've basically been started as a subsidiary alongside ILCA. They're working together with ILCA employees and workers and executives together with Pokemon Company, and they created Pokemon Works to be a singular company that's supposed to work on Pokemon games. We know this has been actually confirmed by trademarks and filings and stuff like that. Like, it actually has been confirmed what Pokemon Works is. We just don't know what they're working on. The thing is, if you think about this, the same way, if we go back here to, like, the press conference we were looking at earlier, right? If you look at this press conference, think about all the stuff that got announced here. Like, think about all the things that they mentioned. Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Go Plus, Masters EX, Pokemon Shirts, Pokemon Home, Detective Pikachu, the movie, everything. Like, they brought up literally everything you can think of. They brought up, like, every aspect of Pokemon. And they explained it. They explained Pokemon Sleep. They explained the release date of 2020, which ended up not happening. They ended up delaying that, which is a rare thing for them to do. They talk about the Pokemon Plus, which is like, again, that's what investors want to hear about. Like, ooh, this is going to make us more money. We want to hear about more money-making methods. You know what I mean? That's what they care about. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're an investor, this is the perfect time to let the investors know, hey guys, we have another new subsidiary that's going to work on even more Pokemon games, which means more profit. We have possibly some new gadgets, right? Like the Pokeball Plus or whatever new things they might be working on. We have, like this is the perfect opportunity to announce a bunch of stuff and like tell the investors, Pokemon's got a bright future. Because right now, Pokemon stock is kind of like, not literal stock, but like generally Pokemon's kind of in a weird spot, okay? Pokemon is not in really the best of spots right now. It's kind of in a weird position, to say the least, okay? It's not really in the best of places right now because interest is dwindling. The TCG is not doing as good as it usually does. General interest is down for Pokemon. It's just across the board. And this is not just me. Like, you have to think about it like this, right? I have numbers from people watching videos that I can use to kind of discern. And I also know from other people in my niche, people that make Pokemon videos, and not just news videos, but everything Pokemon related, it's currently down. And you might think to yourself, yeah, but just because content creators are not getting views doesn't mean Pokemon isn't good anymore, or Pokemon isn't popular anymore. No, that's not the point. The point is that if there's a drop in YouTube searches, Google searches, and generally like just searches, that means there's an overall drop in interest. That means the general public, like the people that will be willing to go out and look up videos or guides on the internet or check out Cerebi or whatever, there's a general lower interest from those people because there's nothing to be interested in. There's nothing. There's no new products. There's no new consumer thing to consume, right? Like there's nothing there. There's no product to consume. So generally the interest in Pokemon right now has dwindled. It's an undeniable fact. It has dwindled. There's way less interest. People just honestly don't care as much as they used to, okay? People just do not care right now because we don't have a new gen yet. We didn't have a new game last year. We don't have a new game this year. So there's like 2 years without a mainline game release, which is, let's just put it like this. It's unprecedented, and it's very, 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 very bad for like general interest in Pokemon because remember, the mainline Pokemon games are essentially giant commercials for the franchise. Like if you buy the game, doesn't it get you excited when you buy a Pokemon game? You play it, you have a good time. You're like, oh shit, I like this one new Pokemon in this new game, whatever, like Ceruledge, whatever. You want to buy merch of Ceruledge. You're like, oh, you know what? You're in the store, you see some packs of Pokemon cards. You're like, oh, dude, I just played Scarlet and Violet. Like, you know what? I just want to open some packs, bro. I just want to open some packs. And you get addicted to packs. And you spend like $500 on just packs. My point is, people do this shit. I'm not saying everyone. Obviously not, okay? Like, clearly I know some people, like, I'm not going to be going and spending $500 on fucking cards. Don't do that, by the way. It's not fucking worth your money. It's really fucking stupid. It's just cards. My point is that there is a correlation between you buying products and them hyping you up with another product. Like the video games are just the advertisement to hype you up to buy merch, right? That's what they always have been. And in the same way, if there is no new game, everything else also falters. Same way, I talked about this in my most recent video. You can go watch that. But the TCG releases usually line up perfectly with the next Pokemon game release, right? To match up with it. So logically, the TCG should have a big impact and should be related really well with the games and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, let's continue down the rest of this. So he says, we'll get a representative of Pokemon Works, the brand new company, to appear on the stage, announcing the new department between Ilka and Game Freak, and showing off the new Generation 5 remakes. That would be sick if that actually happened. That would actually be really sick, because that's how they announced Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, by the way. They literally just announced Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee in a press conference back in 2018. They didn't reveal at the Presents in February because they wanted more time to show off the new game with Pokemon Works being more finalized too. Okay, that actually would make sense. And this is again the one rumored thing that we will talk about is that Black and White remake still could happen. This is still like a rumored thing that we often bring up and we talked about several times on this channel. But I will leave it at that. Okay, I shall leave it at that. I shall not discuss it further. Either way, let's move on. Says, that's all I know so far. Obviously, things can change with how they showcase these different things, but they will all be revealed / talked about during the press conference. Watch this space. Okay, so this is the thing, right? The one thing this thing is missing is everything it's mentioned so far. Everything this post has mentioned is stuff we already know. Like, nothing here to me, none of this sounds to me different. First of all, the release, the actual announcement time frame, May 20th, May 24th, that just fits really well, I guess, with what happened last time. Because we got it last time, we got it on May 29th as well in 2019. So that fits well with that. So maybe he just got that information from there. Having it on 29th, of course, that's what they did last time, right? If we look up the previous press conference, I don't even know if we can do that at the moment. But basically what I'm trying to say is, like, you know, it fits well with what's been done in the past. Like, it doesn't necessarily seem too far-fetched or too crazy or too out of the realm of possibility or norm that they would do something like this. Again, that's the first thing. Number two, he talks about the TCG, like the new TCG set. It seems a little bit weird that they wouldn't announce like other stuff too, or maybe do like announce, you know, Pokemon Go stuff. Like, where's some Pokemon Go things? Where's some stuff about spin-off games? Like, they literally, like, last time they announced, you know, they did sleep-related stuff, Pokemon Quest, you know, side stuff. Like, I'm expecting that, like, nowhere in this post am I seeing like enough information about Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Quest, Pokemon, what else do we have? Pokemon Go, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Sleep. That's 5 spin-off games that definitely could have some information revealed about them, but there's nothing mentioned here. And that's kind of where this rumor a bit falters to me and kind of loses a little bit of its, like, flair and its, like, you know, its girth, if you want to put it that way, because it had me in the first half, but then it kind of, like falters there. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty much a rumor, though, and I'd love to know what you guys think about it, because, again, this is a massive rumor. Like, to put it bluntly, this is a massive rumor. And it does put some things into perspective. And it makes me wonder, because still, May is when I'm waiting for news. I'm still waiting. I'm still begging. I've been saying it for a while now that we could get a press conference in May. Like, this is something I've been touting now for, like, the last, like, 2 months. I've been saying it. Like, hey, guys, press conference could still happen. We could still get a press conference, just like we did in 2018, just like we did in 2019. And hopefully we'll get it again. It's been 5 years, guys. It's been 5 years. And it's about time for them to do another press conference. Like, if you actually really think about it, it's a good time frame, right? Because you don't, like, again, it's mostly about investors. Remember, it's not about you and me. It's not about tu et me. It's not about us. It's about the investors. It's about the people who give their money to the Pokemon company so they make more stuff, so they bring back more money to those people who gave the money to start with. That's who it's really about. It's not about you and me as consumers. It's not about them announcing stuff to you and me. Like, that stuff doesn't really matter to them that much. Like, they know we're going to buy it no matter what. Like, sure, do they need to do some advertising to make sure we actually are invested? Sure. But generally speaking, we are not that important. What is important, however, is definitely the investors. You got to make sure investors are happy. And when I say investors, I mean anybody investing in Nintendo and stuff like that. They got to make sure that people like that are happy. As for Pokemon, I don't know if Pokemon. I know Nintendo is. Nintendo has like it's like is on like the, you know, the public like market, right? So you can actually invest in Nintendo. Let's see. Pokemon Company, though, is, let's see, the Pokemon Company is also a publicly traded company, as far as I'm aware, and they're currently up, like, their stock is currently, you know, if you look at, like, the 5-year, you know, schedule here, you can actually see something very interesting. So this is, let's see, so we look here, the Pokemon Company is basically owned by Nintendo, and if we look at, like, let's say, like, Nintendo's stock, right, as opposed to, like, you know, Pokemon stock, it's about the same, right? It's about, the same thing. Nintendo, on the other hand, is, like, you know, 61 up today, and, you know, Pokemon Company, I guess, because it's only just yen here in this case. Point is that they're pretty much under the same umbrella. So if Nintendo is up, Pokemon should be up too. However, Nintendo is doing well for themselves. If you look at, like, the max amount of time, but you'll also notice that whenever there is a new console, that's when they do see, like, a big peaks, like right here, 2017, you know, like when we had, like, the release of, you know, the actual release of the new console, that being, let's see, so it would be 2017 March. So here, boom, and then it skyrocketed over the course of time here, and then it kind of faltered during 2019, but then it kept consistently growing. Because the Switch is now, I think the Switch is the second, like, the best-selling Nintendo console of all time. I think, if I'm not mistaken, either it's the second best or best-selling, and the second best-selling console of all time. That's, like, for a fact, though. But point being this, though, right? Whenever they do release something new, they see a massive increase. Like here, for example, if you look at, like, around February 2024, here when we had, like, the announcement of specifically, like, the most recent Nintendo Direct or whatever, they had a big bump. And I'm guessing the big bump happens also because people are buying Nintendo stock, expecting it to go up with a new console announcement. Like, as soon as a new console gets announced, the stock prices should go up if it's a cool looking console. If people, like, feel, like, confident in it, it's gonna go up. The price is gonna like rise. So the thing is, this also correlates well with Pokemon. Right now, they're on top, but it's going to go down. It's naturally going to go down as there is not really many things coming out. There's not as many games announced right now. We haven't had a regular Nintendo Direct, by the way. We have no idea what other games are coming out this year. We don't know if, Metroid Prime 4, where's that? What's happening? No new Mario game. Like, basically what I'm saying is, like, there's nothing right now. If you have already bought the Nintendo games for, like, most recent time, there's no new announcements. There's nothing to really wait for. Like, Nintendo's doing good, but right now in April, stock's fallen. Stock is falling down. Not massively. It's still the highest peak they've had in literally, like, all time. Like, this is, like, all-time high peak, right? They're doing incredible for themselves. But remember, this is not a permanent thing. This shit can, like, fall off at any given minute. And basically where I'm at with this is, what I'm trying to say is, they need to update like people, because the Pokemon Company, right, updating with a bunch of new announcements in May, then following that up in June with a Nintendo Direct announcing the next Switch console would be the perfect, and then I don't know what else, other games they could announce there and potential stuff that could get announced, would be the perfect, like, trifecta of things to happen to just boost numbers for Nintendo and, like, push their stock prices even higher. Because remember, that's what companies want. Companies just want their valuation to go up further and further, and general, like, year-by-year income to increase, right? Which is not realistic, technically. Like, companies should not be on a... They can't be on a constant upwards, like, spiral. Like, I guess spiral is not right. Like, on a track, I mean? They can't be on a non-stop upwards track. That just doesn't work. It's not realistic, okay? Eventually, that shit's gotta fucking, come down. But that's the thing. If they're on the rise, they want to keep going on the rise. If they're growing, they want to keep growing. If they're making a lot, they want to keep making even more. Like, that's the most important thing to them. So that's why I think a press conference would be perfect in May. Also announcing another game for this year, so that way this year ends up being not a empty year. Because honestly, I don't really count the DLC from last year enough to be considered a game. I mean, I know it's supposed to replace the third version games. I get it. But still, the DLC is still so small in comparison to a whole full-fledged game that I don't know. It really is like we've had 2 years now without a proper mainline release, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You might think to yourself, oh, that means they have more time to work on stuff. Not really, not necessarily. Pokemon games still stay on that 3-year schedule. It doesn't really change. But it does also mean that if there's no new game this year, general value of Pokemon will go down. That's just how it is, right? Like, if you don't keep feeding people content, same way with me and with videos, if people don't get, you don't keep feeding them with content, they're gonna leave. They're gonna go do something else. They're gonna be interested in fucking PlayStation. I don't know. Point is, that's that. Now moving on to something else. Now, this is a post that was made by Riddler Koo. Now, you guys may know Riddler Koo. He's a rumor, like a Riddler who's actually leaked stuff for real in the past. And basically, he showed up again and he said the following. He says, the season system was once a thing for the Scarlet Violet development, but they didn't make it come back when Scarlet Violet got released. So you would see these deer weirdly living together at the same time. So basically saying that there was supposed to be some form of seasonal system in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like, the seasons would actually change, I'm guessing, based on the literal time in the world, like literal world time. So I guess that's, like, kind of what I'm getting from this, which is totally fine. Nothing too crazy about that. But hey, nonetheless, pretty cool to know. This is pretty interesting. So Sol had to say this. I could never talk about this in a certain way until now, but it was one of my biggest points towards Unova coming after Scarlet and Violet DLC. They kind of implemented those themes in Indigo Disc along with Unova itself, which is true. They kind of did split those areas in a bit. Scarlet and Violet originally had seasons. The Treasure of Ruin and the 4 lighthouses also could have been related to that. Not only that, but the terrarium was based on the Dragon Sea King's Palace from Tale of Urashima Taro. That place was split into 4 seasons. So there's a big seasons and Unova themes in base Scarlet and Violet at one point, and who's to say this isn't still an idea that was inspired what's to come in 2024, which is true. This perfectly fits with what we read from that press conference rumor, that if we get a press conference this May, if we get a press conference and it announces a new freaking Pokemon-like game, it could be a black and white remake still. It still could happen. It's still a possibility, which I totally agree with. And then finally, guys, the last thing I'm going to mention is this was confirmed. We already knew this. This was leaked. We already knew there was a leak for this Indie World Direct, okay? So this is an Indie World Direct. This means that this is a Nintendo Direct, but it's mainly for indie games, which means no Mario, no Zelda, no Metroid, nothing like that. It's going to be indie games like Hollow Knight, I don't know, what's another, Dave the Diver, stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of, like, indie games, right? From smaller studios and like independent developers. And guess what? This was actually leaked. Like, I talked about this in a previous video. If you go back a few videos, you'll see that I read a rumor from this one guy who said this month there's gonna be like Indie World Direct. It's gonna be happening. Stay tuned for it. And guess what? He was correct. It's actually happening, which means that his other information about there being a Nintendo Direct in June to announce the actual next console could make sense. It could be on board, boys. Could be, school boys. Could be happening. Could be happening. Which would be perfect. It would be actually amazing. It would be perfect. It literally would be perfect. But that's what I'm excited about. We'll see though what happens. I'm going to be streaming this, by the way. I'm going to be streaming this here on YouTube. You guys can come by and join me. So you guys can see it right here. I've got the stream scheduled. It's on YouTube. Just come by, join us, and let's have ourselves a good old time watching this Nintendo Indie World Direct. It's probably not going to be crazy. We're not going to see anything nuts, but it's going to be a little fun thing to do just to keep us busy. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys the next time. Peace out and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.